Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again. So, Queen Ahmadiyyah TV presents More Than Meets the Third Eye. So, as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at QueenAhmadiyyah also on Instagram at divine_goddess_27, Brighton and Patreon, and Melanated People at Queen Ahmadiyyah, and on Twitter at DGoddess27. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it, people. Hello, Beatzilla, Joe32, Child Brooklyn, Alva Ellis, Swirl Girl. All right, Roslyn, Jeff ATL, Brianna. Okay, so I have another PowerPoint that I have prepared, and this is going to be just a brief vitamin because I want you all to know that for those of you that feel obligated to certain people in your lives, whether it's friends, family, co-workers, or whoever, people who try to guilt you and make you feel like you owe them something, or like they, for whatever reason, are your responsibility, or as if their problems are in fact your responsibility. I'm sorry, those are not your responsibilities, they're theirs. And as we always have been told by our parents and grandparents, God helps those who help themselves. So when you see that someone is not helping themselves, it's not obligated for you, or you're not obligated to help them. If people don't want to do the work for their own lives, to better their own circumstances, to uplift themselves, then you don't owe it to them. You can try to encourage, motivate, inspire people. And if they don't want to listen, and if you sit there and talk to them, let me just give you an example. There was a young woman that I worked with once, and I didn't really know her that well. I had only worked at her building for, a couple of times. I would go there for overtime. So I was working with this young lady, and she came up to me one day and she asked me for my phone number. And I was surprised because I didn't really know her, like I said. So I gave her my phone number, and she began calling me. Now, every time she called me, she was telling me a sob story like she wanted a pity party. Well, of course, I tried to motivate and encourage her and tell her things to make her feel better, right? Because when people are down and going through things, or feeling depressed, or they're having a struggle, I always try to make them feel better about the situation, not worse, as some people often do. Those are haters. But so with that all being said, I'm telling her all of these things and taking out time out of my day to listen to all of her stuff that she's putting on me and weighting me down, because it was clearly draining me of energy, which was because she was a psychic vampire, which I soon found out. And also because she was burdening me with her problems and issues, when clearly I had my own problems and issues that I was trying to quietly deal with and resolve myself. But being the nice person that the Queen is, I took time out of my life to try to enhance hers and try to tell her words of encouragement, not discouragement. I tried to enlighten and motivate and inspire her, right? But it didn't do any good, because you see, she didn't care about what I was telling her. You know what she cared about? She only cared about absorbing my energy. You see, when you have a light inside of you, a light that shines, darkness will come to try to dim that light. And when dark clouds come and dark people come with dark energy, they only serve to lower your frequency and drain you of your energy so they can absorb it. And when they do this, all they want to do is pile their problems on you. Just keep piling on their problems, telling you all of these sad things about themselves, all of these things that are going wrong in their lives. And when you tell them things to encourage them, well, that doesn't make them optimistic. It really makes them even more pessimistic. Because the thing is this, see, they don't want you to give them a solution to their problems. Because see, if you gave them a solution, then that would just be the end of it. And they can stop calling you. And then they can stop draining your energy and acting as vampires, right? Energy suckers. They could stop. So when you provide them with solutions, they're going to dismiss that. They're going to counter it. They're going to have a rebuttal. It's always going to be something else that's wrong. Well, I could do that for this, but what about this? Well, I still can't get rid of this. This is what they do. If some of you remember in my chats on my other channel back during the Texas snowstorm, there was a young woman who came in the chat saying that she needed help, that her and her family were living in a car in the cold, in the snow, or the snowstorm or whatever. And they were saying it was 6 of them, remember? And she was asking for donations, talking about they needed blankets and all of that. And I told her to email me. She said that one of the children her sister's child or something had been medically kidnapped, I believe. So I told her to email me and I would try to help her. So when she emailed me, I emailed her back a list of shelters that they could stay in. And I even mentioned her staying in shelters on the live stream. But she said, oh, the shelters won't take all of us because it's 6 of us, including 2 infants, and they won't take 6 people. Here's the thing. If you're going to shelters and they won't take 6 people and there's more adults than children, then how about some of the adults split up, take some of the children apiece and go to different shelters? That's one solution I gave her, right? And then she didn't want to hear that. I gave her numerous solutions. She didn't want to hear any of it. I even tried to tell her what to do about her sister's son, who she claimed had been medically kidnapped. I told her I have an attorney friend that I can give you the information to. She didn't want to hear any of that. And you know why she didn't want to hear any of that? Because she was trying to suck the energy out of all of us. That's what that was. And not to mention that I think she was trying to hustle us out of money because she was in the chat asking for donations, which I thought was rude. If you want to come in someone's chat and ask for donations, please announce yourself, explain yourself before doing all of this, and ask if it's okay to do so. First of all, we didn't know her from a can of paint. She could have been anyone for all we knew, right? She could have been someone just running a con game. I'm not saying that she was. I'm just saying she could have been. We don't know. And that's why I told her to email me, and I tried to provide her with numerous solutions to which of each of them she had a rebuttal. So I didn't owe her anything, nor did any of you. And even though I didn't owe her anything, I still tried to provide her with solutions. But guess what? She didn't want those solutions. Because clearly, in my opinion, she just wanted cash. Okay? And people like that, let me tell you something. I don't have time for it because I think they're running con games. You're running con games. 6 grown people or 4 grown people with 2 kids living in a car. And you don't want to go to a shelter where one adult can take 3 of the kids and the other adult can take the other 3. At least you'll have a roof over your head and you'll be warm for a few days, right? And get a hot meal. I'm just saying, that just made no sense. She said she needed the money for blankets and all of that. I'm just saying. I even offered to send her blankets. But then where would I send them to if y'all live in a car? Make it all make sense. And here's another thing that I thought was interesting. I asked her in the email, how was she in my chat? Because if you're living in a car, you don't have internet. Are you on somebody's free Wi-Fi perhaps? I'm just saying, none of it made sense to me, especially the fact that she didn't want to take my solutions. And I want you all to know, honey, that I took time out of my day and busy schedule to literally look for shelters in the area that she said she lived in. But she didn't want that. So pay attention. That's why I'm saying you're not obligated to do anything for anyone in life. We are obligated to ourselves, to our mates, and our children. Okay? Anything you do for anyone else is just out of your own generosity. That's it. And when you find yourself doing things for people who are clearly ungrateful and don't appreciate you, then maybe you should stop. Okay? Don't let people use you as a doormat because they'll walk all over you. Don't let people use you as a Kleenex because when they're done, they'll just toss you aside. Okay? Swirl Girl says, no good deed goes unpunished. Absolutely, beloved. Now, let me share my screen so I can show you all this PowerPoint. Everyone, please get the likes up. Please like and share the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Thank you in advance. Here we go. You don't owe anyone anything. Now, we are not required to speak if we don't want to speak. We are not demanded to give people the words, conversations, and responses that they want, especially if we don't want to give them. Stop making people make you feel obligated. Some people will try to guilt you or shame you into complying and doing exactly what they want. Some people will ask you a question, and when you give them your answer, your opinion, whether it's facts or opinion, if it's not what they want to hear, they get upset. Okay? They get upset. Stop letting people trick you into feeling obligated. Stop letting them bully you and coerce you into feeling like you owe them something. And in fact, most of the times it's something that they don't even do for themselves, that they won't even give to themselves. They won't even do the work, but they want you to do it. Okay? Now, we do not have to reach out to people if we don't want to. We are not required to put ourselves in the way of bad company or bad circumstances just because it's the easy thing to do or because it's more comfortable. We are not obligated, people. And QueenAShakur says empaths really need to hear this. Yes, and that's why I decided to speak on this, because I'm an empath. That's why when these people come to me, you know, with all the issues and problems, I try to help people and lend a sympathetic ear, because I'm an empath and I absorb people's energy oftentimes. But that's why I don't like to deal with negative people, because I don't want to absorb your negative energy, because as I told you numerous of times, energy is contagious, right? You could be in an upbeat, happy mood. You could be feeling so good about yourself, about life. You could feel like inspired and motivating, encouraging people that day. And somebody can come up being so low down and pessimistic and such negative, low vibrational frequencies and energy that they just suck all of the energy and life out of you until you find yourself on their level. So you have to be aware of these people, because I promise you, they mean you nor themselves any good. Now, we do not have to give anything to anyone. However, we owe it to ourselves to honor what we actually do want. We owe it to ourselves to listen to our inner self. That's why it's called energy, I-N-N-E-R-G. Energy comes from within. Now, we owe it to ourselves to listen to our inner self, to hear what feels good and right for our own body, and to refuse to feel guilt or shame for doing so. Let me tell you something, people. You ever hear people say, follow your gut instinct? You know why you have a gut instinct? I'm glad you asked. Because inside of your gut, there is a brain. You literally have a brain inside of your gut. Okay? That's why the intestines, if you look at your intestines, don't they look like your brain? That's because they are a brain. At the end of the day, that's why you have gut feelings, your gut instinct. You should listen to that. When people are trying to run game on you, because a lot of people out here running games and cons and frauds and scams, trying to make you feel like you owe them something. And if you, and let me just give you all an example. So the other day, a distant relative called my uncle, and my uncle's a pastor, and he's always trying to help people because that's in his nature. And so this person calls him talking about they need money for medical reasons. So my uncle called me and asked me what I thought. And I said, well, hey, let's talk about it. So then my uncle says, you know what? Let's call them on three-way. So we called them on three-way. And upon listening to their explanation as to why they needed the money, which I'm not going to get into all of that, this person was clearly lying, honey. They were running game. It was a whole con and a whole scam. And my uncle already thought so and knew so, but he wanted confirmation because he didn't want to feel guilty later if the person was, in fact, telling the truth by some stretch. But it did sound like a lie to my uncle. And I confirmed with him that it was absolutely a lie, because what they were talking about, I knew all the details of it. And at the end of the day, what he was saying was not true. So fast forward, Saturday, this weekend, this relative goes and posts on the internet, F all the family. Nobody didn't want to help me. I hope all y'all die. And when you die, I'm not coming to your funeral. Oh, wait a minute. But yes, I am going to come to your funeral so I can piss on your grave. That's what he said. That's what he said about his whole family. He going to come and piss on our grave because we didn't give him what he wanted. Because we didn't listen to his lies and fall for it, because he was running game and it didn't stick, because game recognizes game. And me and my uncle both recognized that that's what he was running. And at the end of the day, another thing is this. He hadn't called my uncle for years. It was about 3 years since he last called my uncle. And that time when he called my uncle was to ask for money again. So let me tell y'all something. I said all that to say this. When people are calling you only when they want something, only when they need something, only when they're going through something, don't answer your phone. Because people who only call you when they want something are nothing but users. They are low vibrational. I mean, if they can't call you to tell you happy birthday, I hope you're having a blessed day. If they can't call you to tell you whatever, honey, and they only call you when they want and need something, don't answer your phone. That's what you don't need to do. Don't answer your phone. LeVar says, I'm glad you're making this, Queen. Being an introvert, people will get upset at me just for not talking enough or hanging out in the groups of people that I don't want, that I don't know, or call me selfish or mean. Let me tell you something, beloved. Thank you for your insight into the topic and your contribution. Peace, love, and blessings to you. Let me tell you something. At the end of the day, that's nothing but game too. You don't have to hang out with people if you don't want to. And I'm going to tell you like this. I don't like hanging out with people that I don't know either. I sure don't. And I'm not very, I'm not usually very talkative with people that I don't know. See, I am a talkative person, but when it comes to people that I don't know, honey, I just sit back, watch, and observe. That's what I do. And sometimes people will try to make you feel bad about that. You know, they're like, oh, what's wrong? You're not saying anything. Really, I have nothing to say. I'm just chilling. And they'll make you feel bad. Like, oh, you just acting funny. Oh, you trying to act brand new. No, I'm not trying to act brand new. I'm watching and observing my surroundings. And I'm picking up on the energy and the vibes and the frequencies that are being given off. That's what I'm doing. Don't let people run that game on you because it's a whole con. QueenAShakur says, hold on, let me go to the comments. People will run game on you with the quickness. QueenAShakur says, let's get the lights up for the queen. Thank you, beloved. Okay. Wisdom and Earth says, I am having the same problem right now, and I am an introvert. Me too, queen. See, thank you for sharing that, beloved. Because here's the thing. QueenAShakur says, my dad taught us to sit and listen and learn more about a person. Absolutely. Deeper Truth says, me too, queen. I must scan my surroundings and feel the energy. Absolutely. Terry says, I'm just reading the whole environment. Absolutely. That's what you have to do. That's what you have to do. Sit back and watch and observe and listen, right? And when people try to make you feel bad about something that you don't want to do or you can't do, and sometimes, here's the thing, sometimes it's not because you don't want to do it. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you can't. And at the end of the day, this family member, this distant relative, at the end of the day, they don't know whether we just didn't want to do it or we just couldn't do it. That's what they don't know. And here's another thing. We didn't tell them yes or no. What we actually told them, me and my uncle, we said, well, listen, it sounds like, this is what I told them. I said, well, listen, it sounds like you may not have all of the information. Everything may not have been explained to you thoroughly. So wait until you talk back to the person and find out all of the details, and then call us back and let us know all of the details, and then we'll assess the situation from there. But no. They didn't do that. They just got mad because we didn't just immediately say yes and give them what they wanted. That's how people do. Pay attention. Psychic vampires are everywhere. Now, we do not have to give anything to anyone. However, we owe it to ourselves. We owe it to ourselves to listen to our inner self. Absolutely. That's what we owe it. Owe it to ourselves. Now, my point is communication and empathy make the world go round. This is all true. Sure, a lot of the time it's nice to offer our time to anyone who deserves it, right? Even when we don't want to give it. A lot of time it is less awkward to fake a smile rather than to just continue on. A lot of time it is more comfortable to fake peace and love for someone, even if we don't really feel it. But that doesn't mean we have to do it. We don't have to fake a smile. We don't have to fake love and affection or pretend to be somewhere or feel something that we don't. Stop letting people make you do something you don't want to do and feel obligated or feel bad or regret that you didn't do it. Because after all, are they doing it for themselves? No one is required to give us their time, their energy, their words, or their favors. No one has to give us anything. No one owes us anything, and nor do we owe it to them. Now, the truth of the matter is that we aren't here to make other people comfortable or to make their lives easier. If something is benefiting someone else, but it's making our own lives worse, pay attention. If something is making someone's life easier, but it's making our own worse, we aren't where we should be. And that's just the fact. Now, remember that you aren't here to please everyone. You do not have to give parts of yourself that you don't want to give or parts that you can't give. You are here to ensure your own health, happiness, and progression. And that's it, and that's all. Stop letting people fool you and use you for their own selfish reasons and services. And especially when it's people that you know that the same thing they're asking you to do for them, that they, if given the chance or asked, they wouldn't do the same for you. Pay attention. If it's somebody you know would not do the same for you, what? You don't owe them anything. And if they only call you when they need something, You don't owe them anything. Because people who truly care about you call you at least to say hello, how you doing? How's your life been? Are you feeling okay? Is everything going all right? Do you need anything? How can I help you? They'll ask you any of those questions. They will. They'll call you not just when they want something. And I'm going to tell you something. It's the same way with the Most High. I want y'all to pay attention. I want y'all to pay attention because I told you all this before. There's some people who they never think about the Most High. They never think about the Most High until things start going bad for them. Now all of a sudden they want to come calling on God. Oh, God, could you please? Oh, I can't pay my rent. Let me just pray. They never pray until they want something. You don't always have to pray because you want or need something. You can pray just with an attitude of gratitude, just to thank the Most High for waking you up to see another day, for making you be in your right frame of mind. Do you know how many people are not in their right frame of mind? I mean, if you don't, just look at President Joe Biden. Clearly, headed for Shady Pines. So with that all being said, have an attitude of gratitude. And when you have done things for people in the past and they didn't show you appreciation, and you only hear from them only when they need something, don't give them what they want. That's how you break people's cycles. You see, people will use you and abuse you as long as you allow them to. People treat you the way you allow them to treat you. Stop complaining about somebody doing you dirty when you allow them to throw the dirt. Stop complaining that someone is putting you in a rut when you allow yourself to climb on in. That's what you have to stop doing. People treat us the way we allow them to. And that's just a fact. When you set boundaries, because that's what you have to do. You have to set boundaries. And it could be for anyone in your life. It could even be your own kids. When your kids are grown, sometimes they still think you owe them something. You don't owe them anything after you done worked, toiled, and slaved to raise them and teach them the right things about life and instill in them the core values that they need to have to get by. You have taught them how to survive and to work and be independent of themselves, for themselves. You don't owe them anything. And anything you give them after that is just simply out of the kindness of your heart. That goes for kids, other family members, co-workers, friends, and whomever. Your mate, whomever. And here's another thing. You see, some people foolishly look for other people to make them happy. You need to first find happiness within yourself. If you don't have happiness within yourself, you're sure not going to find it from somebody outside of you. And if you think that you have, then what are you going to do when that person leaves and takes all that happiness with them? What, you going to be sad, depressed, on the brink of suicide? That's how those things happen. So find happiness within yourself. Keep your energy, I-N-N-E-R-G, for yourself. High vibrational, positive. All right? So that all being said, don't let people fool you and run that con game and guilt trip on you, honey, and make you feel like you're obligated to do something for them that is going to inconvenience you in the long run. Because I'm going to tell you something. I don't do anything for somebody that's going to inconvenience me. That's what I don't do. I don't. I will help people, and I will especially help people who are grateful for the help and people who I know truly need it and who are trying to help themselves in the process, because we all go through struggles, and without struggle, there is no progress, as Frederick Douglass said. But at the end of the day, if they're not even lifting a finger to help themselves, they just calling you, telling you all their problems. And then you try to give them solutions verbally, and they don't want to hear that. They want you to be physical. They want you to physically come and help them. They want you to put your money in the pot. They want you to come pick them up and drive them to this place or that. They want you to do the work that they themselves won't even do. Stop doing it. Because you know what you become then? You become an enabler. You become an enabler, even if it's your own kids. Because see, here's the thing about your kids. You have to teach your children to be responsible. You have to teach them how to function independently on their own without your service and without your help. Because one of these days, you're not going to be here. One of these days, you're not going to be here. And then what? So you have to teach them to help themselves. Now, you can help them, of course. But you can't just be there all the time, giving them everything that they want and need when they're adults. I'm not talking about young kids. I'm talking about when they're grown. You can't just keep doing that because you're teaching them to be irresponsible. You're teaching them to be codependent on someone else. That's what you're doing. And as far as friends and families and co-workers or whomever else is concerned, you don't owe them any more than they owe themselves. So pay attention. Now, with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in once again to Queen Ahmadiyyah TV presents More Than Meets the Third Eye. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Keep yourselves high vibrational. Stay in positive spirits. Be optimistic and not pessimistic. And always, always keep the Most High first in your life. And remember, I've got my third eye on you. Peace.